Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parco. I'm here with Amy T. Meyer, and we are the host of. Well, hello, Amy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And you?
I can't complain because no one listens anymore. So, you know, I was before I came in here and realized, oh, we have a show. I was listening to local radio, and there's a guy on there talking about, and he's a veteran, and he was a local politician at one time, and he's talking about how the current people, veterans, older guys, don't think they think they're the last generation that's going to go through what we just went through, right? And so I know it's kind of deep all of a sudden jumping right into it, but basically Vietnam people thought they were the last ones going to go through it. Then we have Korea, and then now we have Iraq and they're thinking they're the last ones to go through it. Well, no, we could actually have another war with China and other stuff right now. And so we just have to be there and think be there for people is all I'm getting at. So
I agree. I
yeah.
think it's, even there's so many different conflicts around the world. Even a war isn't necessarily the only way to have conflicts and traumas and everything.
PTSD, all that fun stuff.
Hmm.
I was watching a show on Netflix last night, and in there, they had one of the people are going through issues that they're dealing with, that from war, and they never dealt with it. Now they're dealing with it, and so it's important, and that's one of the reasons we do the show is to get people connected to resources that they didn't know was out there. That's out there right next, could be right next door to them. They don't know it's there because that information. There's too many, like we say, there's so many silos, and they don't communicate. We want to stop that. And one of the reasons I wanted to do today's show and have you on and no other guests is because you changed jobs a while back. And I don't think we really talked about what that is going forward for you.
We did. So I now
Do you
work
want to
for
be same size or do you want to be center screen?
same size. I don't want
Okay.
to.
Right.
um,
But if I put you in the middle, I could go do something else and come back and nobody would know.
no, I like this way. So now I work for the Travis Manion Foundation. And before going to work for them, I actually volunteered for about 2 years. So all during the pandemic. And I
For
always,
people who don't know, what is the Travis Manion Foundation?
okay.
Okay. Not everybody's in your head, Amy. And I don't mean that. I know I don't be so mean to her. No, it's just when you're telling stories and you're talking, not everybody understands what you're talking about. So any acronym, anything at all, explain what that is so people can follow.
Sir,
I want to act like I have a child here who doesn't understand what we're talking about.
absolutely. So the Travis Manion Foundation is a military service organization, and they partner with, or their goal is to work on our nation's character. And they do that through engaging with veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians. And we have a lot of programs nationwide that we do. Travis Manion was a Marine Corps officer. He died in Fallujah, Iraq in 2007. And this was his family's way of continuing his legacy. He had a personal ethos, which is if not me, then who? And he was really into Spartans and the movie 300 and stuff like that. And so that's kind of where our logo comes from. But the number one thing is we're trying to, one, build character, and two, really engage our veteran community. Our studies show that 55 to 60% of veterans who leave service feel like they have a loss of purpose. And 1 in 3 kids don't have an adult mentor. So if we use this community to partner with this community, and
So you're talking about the veteran community partnering with the kids who don't have
with our
parents.
communities, yeah. And we do things.
I'm a little slow on the uptake, so that's why I'm asking questions.
We all of our curriculum is based on positive psychology. We teach 24 different character strengths and how they kind of present. And we do activities with the kids and get into discussions about, like, so if you have a character strength. One of our character strengths is humor, which could be one of your top 5, Ed.
Okay.
And we can talk about when humor is super needed, when it can diffuse a situation.
Just as long as you say it's when it's not inappropriate, because then, you know.
So that every character strength also has a shadow side. And we talk about what that looks like as well. Because when you're building character, you need to be able to have kind of more of a complex conversation. And we also work with, we want to do sort of like for real work. So we pair veterans and we vet our veterans. So they go through our training and then we do a background check so that we can feel comfortable and secure in having them in schools, boys and girls clubs, anywhere that they want to serve.
And also they have to have a background check to do that period. Did you know?
Well, not with all groups, but yes.
Yeah, with children.
Yeah.
Anything to do with children, you have to have a background check. Sorry,
but we
just
do
breaking your bubble. It's not just veterans who have to have it; it's everybody. But it's nice that you vet the veteran and see how they are, right? See where they are in life and where they are along the process. There's nothing worse than putting them with one of those old ratty vets who don't like anybody, and you know.
Right, and you have to go through the positive psychology.
That's me because I got one of those shirts. So,
and I think
grumpy old vet.
It also brings the opportunity to do a lot of things. So we can work with a school and do a program. So it's not just usually just a presentation. Usually a presentation is where we start. And then we ask the veteran, how often do you want to teach character courses in this school or in this Boys and Girls Club or in this youth group? And they go, I'll do it once a month for 6 months or once a week for 6 weeks. And that gives the kids an opportunity to really bond with the veteran and the veteran the opportunity to really work with the kids. And by doing those projects, yes?
No, I want to go back, finish this, and then I want to go back to the 24 characters.
Okay. And so by doing that, it gives the opportunity, one, that it's not just 1 or 2 character strengths that you're talking about. You have the opportunity to talk about a number of them, and then oftentimes at the end of the class, they'll do like a service project, which we call an Operation Legacy project. So whether you're beautifying a school, painting a building, doing something like that, to teach sort of the kids reciprocity and just really be able to connect and to make things better within their community. And so veterans can choose groups anywhere.
Okay.
So what were you going to ask?
What are the 24 characteristics or whatever you teach? Let me get my piece of paper out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
You just lost everybody because you had to look for paper. All right, so you guys teaching character so it's helping kids learn character, which some of us were taught by our parents, taught by grandparents, other people in our lives, but some people don't have those people. And so that's what the Travis Manion Foundation does by connecting those 2 groups, veterans and children.
Okay, I got it. So our character strengths that we lean into is creativity, curiosity, judgment, perspective, courage, perseverance, social intelligence, love of learning, zest, love, integrity, fairness, humor, spirituality, hope, gratitude, appreciation of beauty, self-regulation, prudence, humility, forgiveness, leadership, kindness, and teamwork. So I always felt like they were diverse enough to where it's a little bit more inclusive of different personalities, and it's really kind of, hold on, sorry.
All right. That's okay. You can't go mute. You just know their guests but you, so you have to keep talking and talk over them. There's the difference. All right, so, and we all know we're doing podcasts I'm doing my studio, but you're doing it from home, so occasionally you have people at your house, or I think it's at your home, right? All right.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Or it's the backstage of someplace. All right. So teaching, you said you think those 24 are enough to include enough people in the process. And do you get to pick, I don't want to say this wrong, but do you pick the ones you want to talk about, or do you have to talk about all 24 when you're with children?
So each veteran can pick and choose the character strengths that they want to talk about. So, like I said, in that series of 6, I usually recommend the veterans to talk about 1 or 2 of their character strengths so that the kids can learn about them. And then,
What if
like,
you have all 24?
well, you could do all 24.
But if that's your strength, if all of them are your strengths, would you want to talk about all of them?
Well,
Just
usually
kidding.
we consider, yeah. Everybody has a top 5.
Okay, top 6.
And I
Top
think
10.
and they're like with sports groups, a lot of times, especially with boys, I like to teach love because they think that it's like a woo-woo character strength, but more cadets at West Point and Annapolis have love as one of their top 5. Same with NBA, because when you cherish your teammates and how it's presented, and so it's being able to talk it is a very righteous character strength, and it's a good one to lean into when things are rough. And we
Right.
talk,
And it doesn't mean the love like a woman and a man, or a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, whatever. I won't get into all of them, but I'm just saying it's the overall what it means, not necessarily what most people think it means. Right.
right. And then I think of like you can also pick a character strength based on what's going on in the world. So I had a junior ROTC commander that we talked about him, and after the school shooting he taught forgiveness and hope in his class, because he felt like those were things that the kids really needed to lean into. And so what's nice about it is each veteran gets the opportunity to kind of go down that road with how they want to do it. And I love that about working with kids and having veterans have their own autonomy on what their kind of personal agenda is, like what they're trying to accomplish.
Now, I mean, because forgiveness is huge. I mean, I deal with that with, I don't want to say family members, but sometimes, people just don't want to, they want to hold on to it. You're not forgiving the other person for them. You're forgiving it for yourself so you can move on yourself personally. And it takes a lot to understand that in life, to let it go so that it helps you move on. I've been around women who hold grudges forever. And we won't talk about Marcia. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
But I think,
right, you understand what I'm getting at, right? For me, no judge. For me, just the top 2 would be judgment, that I have none, because I've been judged in the past, and there's no reason to judge other people. Plus, that's one of if you're into religion, that's the number 1 thing you're not supposed to do. And 2 would be forgiveness, because you get wronged throughout your life, and you have to be okay with what happens to you. It's part of moving on and getting through it. You have to let it go. Otherwise, they'll keep you down. You're not hurting them by keeping the grudge. You're hurting yourself.
Well, and I think it's also part of a bigger conversation. Like if you find out what your top character strengths are, and maybe even what your best friend's character strengths are, and how they complement each other. And like I have a really great relationship with my boss, and we have some very different character strengths, and it's fun for us to talk about that. Where she has a little bit more of prudence and self-regulation, and I'm more honesty, and so I'm like, okay, if I get asked this, are you prepared for me to say, my honest truth? And it's nice that we can appreciate our differences and kind of lean into each other's strengths.
Gotcha.
And teaching that.
Right. So why did you go over to this organization? I mean, you volunteered for a couple of years. What about it? Okay, you talked about how the 24 character strengths and how you can teach those, and you take veterans and children or youths and have them work together, which is great. And, and changing the character of the nation, which is really important, because I see a lot where kids, we learn, right? We learn. Right. And we talk about this all the time, but my dad was a bigot. racism is learned. It's not in us. My kids, they're all different nationalities, and I'm not racist. I don't none of that stuff. But my dad was, and that side of the family was the worst. They were from Iowa, and that can really ruin people. And you have to understand in life. So understanding that it is a taught thing, and how you can get around certain characters and certain things, and how people ask, how did you not come out that way? Well, luckily he died when I was 12. Anyway, well, I got away from it. You follow what I'm getting at? That's
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I think, so I feel like you asked two questions. One
I don't know
is
what question. I got sidetracked with my little little thing there.
why I
Joined
chose
it.
to work
Yeah.
with the Travis Manion Foundation is because I really felt like I wanted to be a part of the solution. I'm tired of all the division and unrest and different things like that. And I really wanted to be a part of the solution and love what I do. And so I chose to make the leap, and they chose to catch me. So,
Because your husband moved out of the way so they could catch you.
right.
Go ahead. I
And
got
he
you. Call back.
volunteers. He gets voluntold sometimes.
Yeah, it's voluntold.
But,
We know. He's not the volunteeraholic. That's you. At least you have one place to volunteer for now.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of other places. Yeah. You do any golf tournaments?
I'm not coordinating a golf tournament this year.
You're just showing up.
You're asking me. Yep. I just support others. But I will say I do still volunteer with other organizations. But it's fun to kind of do both. And I think it's all about the conversation right now. Like, we really need to be able to have complex conversations, be able to sit next to people that we disagree, and not be angry about having different belief systems. And, and I think those things, like you said, like racism is taught, understanding conversation is taught as well.
Mm-hmm.
If we can have real conversations, and a lot of things is fun. Like, one of the activities is, if you were on a boat, and we give you a list of things that you have on this boat that you're surviving on, and you have to put them in priority, which is really interesting. And then I have what the Coast Guard says is the priority of those items. And so some of them can be really interesting conversations. Or, if the world were to end and you only got 10 people, the first thing a lot of kids do is they put their family members, and I go, wait, you have to procreate. You're starting a whole new world. But they never thought of it, because they thought of it just emotionally. And I think all of those conversations with kids are very powerful and allow for them to open up.
So what are you? All right. So we're into this. I kind of can't believe it's been 18 minutes. It goes by fast, doesn't it, Amy? Especially when you got the spotlight on you. So now that you're here, what are you looking to do going forward?
Right now it's getting veterans involved. And, I have 5 back to school events coming up. I have, we also are doing summer camps, which are kind of like the one and done. However, I have
the one and done,
like a presentation where we talk about Travis Manion Foundation and 1 or 2 character strengths, but there's not like a series of classes.
All right. So you just a little bit, and then here's a backpack to go with it.
Right.
Okay.
Or a wristband, and whatever swag I have. Right. But
and just again, not everybody knows your terminology. One and done, one and out. You know what I mean? It's like, so bear with me if I cut you off. I'm trying to just make sure people can follow.
Yes. And so in this area, and my area is Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Alaska. So veterans in those states, if you wanted to reach out to me to get involved, I would love that. And you can go right on to travismanion.org and join the mission, and it's free. And if you go in, you're not agreeing to anything, you can still just look around and decide what you want to do.
And if it doesn't work for you, there's other places you can volunteer.
And I will say this, Travis Manion did a lot of research to find out when in the veteran experience we are actually impacting well-being. And one of the things that we have found true for us is that it's the veteran that is not just in one area, like not just doing the character courses, but maybe doing the 9/11 run, and one of the Operation Legacy projects, which is like a service project. It's getting involved in 2 to 3 different types of activities. I think bring the relationships online to where you're actually affecting your well-being. And I think that's important, and you could probably extrapolate that for other service organizations as well.
So basically get more involved.
Get more involved.
Multiple, just not as much as Amy, because you do have to sleep sometimes.
I sleep just fine.
Yeah. When someone else is driving. What? Do you drive all the time? Is that what you're going to tell
I
me?
drive all the time. And Mr. T. Meyer falls asleep in record speed.
Damn, what is it? How come I have to drive all the time?
I don't know.
Anyway, all right. So went over your Travis Manion Foundation now. What does Travis Manion Foundation do? We did that. And then and what you're doing go forward. Is there anything else that's coming up that you want to let people know that's happening that you want to get people involved with? Because you had your the ruck thing that we went through and made little patches for helping the Brave patches. And we still have a few. So if you want a helping the Brave patch, go ahead and text Brave to 33777 and we'll get it out to you.
Very good.
We'll cover the costs on this one, but eventually you'll have to pay for it.
I was going to say, just get involved, whether it be the Travis Manion Foundation or another nonprofit.
That's not what I asked. I said, what else you got coming up? You got anything coming up?
Just the backpack giveaways and school classes. I have lots of events.
So nothing, no run, no.
9/11 Heroes Run is in Snohomish.
When is that?
That is a city in Washington.
What time? What year? I mean, what's the day of the month or of the year?
It is
what
September
the date?
10th.
Thank you. Jeez. All right. So 9/11 run, September 10th of 2022.
Yes.
Coming up. And it's in where?
Snohomish.
Where's Snohomish? Now you can tell me where that is.
That's about an hour and a half north of Tacoma, or maybe 2 hours north of Tacoma. And so, yes.
All right. So, and I assume that's higher altitude, or is it just further up the road?
I think it's further up. I don't know what the altitude is.
I was just wondering.
You can find it on the travismanion.org. So.
All right. Well, there you go. Anything else you want to add today, Amy? And thanks for letting me put you on the spot, find out what you've changed. I'm still doing mortgages. I'm still doing the other stuff. So nothing's changed with me.
No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you. Thanks for what you do for us. Thanks for what you're doing for helping the Brave. And again, we're looking for people to come on the show. If you're doing something to help veterans, if you're not, we want to talk to you. If you're a veteran and we want to know how your transition story is and where you're doing today, what's the difference, how we can help you, let us know. Reach out to us. You can email us at info@helpingthebrave.org or .com or whatever. I think it's info@helpingthebrave.com. There it is. I knew I'd get there. And, reach out to us, let us know. And you can always find me at my website. And you can always find Amy.
Yes.
Just search her. All right, Amy, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, stay right there. And everybody else, if you like what we do here, follow.